Now this is a valuable Pokemon card. Now I know some Pokemon people out there right now have their jaws dropped to the floor because I have this rare card. This is a first edition Chansey holofoil from the first generation of Pokemon. At the time, this card was the second most powerful Pokemon card out of the 150 original Pokemon, and these are very hard to find. Luckily, this one I actually won in a game of Pokemon back in 2000. So this card's a little scratched up, but it's still at least an 8 out of 10. As you can clearly see, there's maybe one scratch you can visibly see, but all the other ones are just microscopic. Now, as you can probably tell, Chansey has 120 HP. Now, today in Pokemon, that's nothing special, but back in 1999, this card and Charizard were the only two that had 120 HP. So that made them very rare and collectible and valuable. If you had a Chansey or a Charizard, you were the man. And let me tell you, Chansey's a pretty strong card. Double Edge does 80 damage, but it also does 80 to Chansey, so if you're going to use it, make sure to have at least 2 or 3 super potions with you, like I do. Now that is why Chansey is a valuable card and Kabutops EX is a rare card. Big difference. Please do not get them confused because it insults us old Pokemon masters. Now, you're probably wondering how rare exactly are these Pokemon cards I speak of, Charizard and Chansey and whatnot. Well, when Pokemon first came out, there was about 5 or 6 really rare cards. One was the starter Pokemon, Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur, but then there was also Alakazam, then Raichu, or the top 5. Let's do round it off to 5. There were a couple of others, Poliwrath, but let's not get into all of the rare ones. The top 5. But in Chansey, yeah, so 6, basically. But anyway, the top 2 most valuable were Chansey and Charizard. And just to put a number on this, that Kabutops card I showed you, a friend wanted me to give it to him for about $25. And I don't really care. I just have to have an example of what Pokemon are then and now, really. But luckily, there's an old-fashioned Pokemon store in my town, and it's the last one in our county that actually sells and retrades Pokemon cards from 1999-2000. And I went in to have my Pokemon cards evaluated at prices. And just because I have that one chance doesn't mean that's the only one I have. Believe me, I have plenty of other rare cards that I might get into showing you later. But for right now, let's stick to the Chansey one for now. Now, I had the Kabutops priced up that one, and he said he would give me $30 for it. Now, I showed him my Chansey, and his expression on his face was priceless. Let me tell you something. When you show someone a Chansey card first edition, that's pretty much an 8 out of 10 on quality, their heart starts to race. See, this guy was happy. He wanted it. And I asked him how much he'd give it for me, and he said that he would give me $95. Now, that's pretty good. He said that if it was a perfect condition, no scratches, mint, basically, first edition, I could probably get $135 at the card store. I don't know if the prices vary in different counties or states or whatnot. You can just tell me in a comment below whether or not they do that or not. But the Charizard card, which let me tell you comes from Pokemon Master, is arguably the rarest. Forgive me, it's late tonight. It's the rarest card of them all out of the original 151 Pokemon. It's a first edition, 120 HP. Its Fire Spin does 100 damage to any Pokemon, and you have to discard 2 energy cards from it. Now, back in 1999-2000, that was the most powerful attack there was, besides flipping a coin and getting all heads on like a 3 attack. So if you had a Pokemon that flip 3 coins, that's 40 damage, that's the only way, but not a single attack, not flipping coins or anything. That was the most powerful attack there was. And unless it was a Chansey or another Charizard, you were going to get a one-hit KO every single time. Which means, if you use 149 Pokemon, they're going to go down. That was pretty awesome. And that is why Charizard is considered by us Pokemon Masters to be the holy grail of Pokemon cards. Now, I was aware there were some different models. Some came in a different type of holofoil. Some came in holographic. But basically, the original holofoil is the rarest of them all. I mean, it's just awesome. I almost had one. It was for a first prize back in 2000, but I didn't get that far. I came in third. But basically, that's pretty much the scoop of it. Now, I need to address something very clearly that I think I addressed before a few minutes ago. There have been a lot of people online, on YouTube, on Pokemon websites, etc., that have been saying that they're awesome because they have big, powerful cards, like I said, like the black and white ones from the Unova. I think, I can't remember all of them. I know there were some from the Solana region, but like I said, I just stick to the first two generation of Pokemon. I don't get into the newer ones. Pretty much. So, but I'm there where there are stronger cards than Chansey and Charizard, but I need to address something here. Just because it's a big, strong card doesn't make you awesome. Anybody can pick up a strong card and use it in battle. Like I said, for example, that one, the black one from Pokemon Black and White, I think it did like 140 damage with its electricity attack. I can't remember what it was called. But yes, that is strong, and yes, that will pretty much wipe out any Pokemon, but anyone can do that. So like, for example, like I said, Chansey does 80 damage to itself. Charizard, you have to move 2 energy cards from it. There was skill in that. You had to decide which moment to use it in your battle. Whether you want to use it in the first round, the final round. Like with Chansey, it does 80 damage. What if you have like 70 hit markers on it? Do you use that at the beginning and get Chansey out of the way? Or do you wait for the final blow and knock both of you out and make a tie and have a final showdown for the crown, basically? Now, I don't like new ones. They're bad. I'm going to admit it. And pretty much, from the people I'm talking to online at Pokemon websites, they hate them too. I'm just going to take a rough guess. Out of like a couple hundred people I've talked to, I'm going to say about at least 80% of us Pokemon Masters who grew up with the first generation hate the new generation of Pokemon after the Johto. Now, let me explain something here. When Pokemon first came out, it was revolutionary for its time. I mean, we never seen anything like it before. But now, Ash is still a teenager, he still hasn't become a Pokemon Master, and I really doubt that's even his goal anymore. All he ever does is meet a girl, walk around, get a couple of badges, leaves the girl, and starts all over in a new region. And now in the first and second seasons, it was really intense. I mean, he came close. He came in the top 12th in the first season. I haven't seen the first season in a few months, so I can't remember exactly. And I just started watching the second season again since I paid for an online anime website so I can start watching it again. So I have to refill. But I did watch the shows when I was a kid. And believe me, Pokemon was everything back in the day. I mean, you can walk down the street without seeing someone with a Pokemon shirt, a Pokemon hat, and all that. And just for the record, it's pronounced Pokemon, not Pokemon. Pokemon is for if there's one, but it's Pokemon if there's more than one. I really get annoyed when people are referring to multiple Pokemon and say it's a Pokemon. It's really annoying, so stop it. Now, let's move on to our next subject. And it's a very serious one too, let me assure you. Oh, what was it? It was the new generation. Yeah, I haven't had anything planned out here. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, so I'm just trying to remember exactly what it was I was trying to recall here. Yes, let's continue. Now, recently, back in 2009, I had the liberty, or tragedy, whichever way you want to refer it to. One of my newer generation Pokemon friends took me to a new Pokemon battle. I said, you know what, I haven't been to one in 7-some years, so I figured, no, what the heck, I'll go just for, nostalgic moments. And when I got to this Pokemon place where they're having it, my heart sank. Everything about Pokemon is different. There's new rules, new regulations, new strategies and battles. It's just so different, it's like a whole different version of Pokemon. And there's some new rules and whatnot, but still, everyone who was there just didn't seem to be that happy or confident about Pokemon. It's like, whatever, I'll play, I'm bored. And that's a sad thing. We see that in a bunch of these, 10, 11-year-old kids who are playing Pokemon. Only one or two people I've seen at that tournament, which was in Washington State, by the way, were actually really into it. I mean, you could tell they were from the first, second generation, and that's how I could tell. When you've been doing this as long as I have, you can always spot someone who started out in generation. Like I said, I've been doing it for over a decade now. I could spot anyone out of a crowd of Pokemon and say, oh, he's from the first, the second, he just started his third. That's a little trait or a skill that us old people have nowadays that no one really seems to care anymore. Now, let me take you back to when Pokemon first started. Now, when you went to a Pokemon contest, it was amazing. I mean, you could collect badges and whatnot. I think they still do that. I wasn't there for more than an hour, so I really didn't get to see much of anything. But, I mean, you can make friends a lot. I mean, there's the biggest one I went to was in 2001. That had 2,300, I think so. But around there, that had that many in it. I mean, it was fun. You could make a lot of friends, few rivals, but it was fun. I mean, when you won, you really felt like you accomplished something. Because they could give you either a rare card, they could give you a booster pack, they could give you the VHS tapes, for like a couple of the shows, a book, a magazine. I still have some of these mementos from my childhood too. And I don't brag. Let me share. I mean, I think people online, and if you know what I'm talking, they brag. I mean, they don't forwardly say it, but they really want to try and impress people of their Pokemon collection. Well, let me assure you that us old people, as you like to call us, we don't brag. We don't tell people that we're awesome. We just love Pokemon for what it was, and we just collect the stuff as a memento nostalgic or to further improve our skills as a trainer or master. Now, just to be clear, I'm just going to show you the stuff that I have, and you can be the judge to tell me if I'm overdoing it or not.